Tonight, the mass shooting at an Arkansas grocery store. Multiple people are dead, several more wounded, including at least one in the parking lot. A police officer also shot. Customers sent running from the store. The gunman now in custody and in critical condition. Plus, the major Supreme Court ruling upholding the federal ban on firearms for people under domestic violence restraining orders. In the 8-1 ruling with Justice Thomas as the lone dissenter, the court making it clear after a flood of challenges to gun safety laws that the Second Amendment does indeed allow for guns to be taken away from people who pose a threat to others. And more than 100 million Americans from coast to coast baking under unrelenting heat and humidity. Our nation's capital this weekend could hit 100 degrees in June for the first time in more than a decade. And train service in and out of New York City disrupted for the second day in a row. Meantime, the middle of the country bracing for damaging wind and hail. Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff in tonight for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are following those stories and much more, including both Biden and Trump campaigns are counting on black men for their vote, banking on those votes to make a difference in key swing states. But some black men tell us they're wary of being courted only to be ignored after an election. Plus, parents of 6 children tragically swept away, drowned in a riptide at a Florida beach. Lifeguards finding them more than 300 feet from shore. And the history of breakdancing competitions. 2 filmmakers walk us through how urban battles evolved into an Olympic sport. But we begin with the latest on the deadly mass shooting in America, this time at a supermarket in Arkansas. We are getting the first images of the chaotic scene this afternoon at the Mad Butcher supermarket, more than an hour south of Little Rock. Police and emergency vehicles obviously flooding that area. Witnesses in the small town of Fordyce described the sounds of gunfire as shoppers were gunned down. Tonight, at least 3 people are dead, 11 injured, and some of those injured are in critical condition. Tonight, police say it was a lone gunman. Officers confronting him, injuring him, but he is alive. According to the Gun Violence Archives, this is the 234th mass shooting in America so far this year. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas leads us off tonight with the new details just in.
A mass shooting today at a grocery store in southern Arkansas, shocking a small community, wounding bodies and souls.
We are live here at Mad Butcher in Fordyce, and there's a shooting going on.
Listen to the sound of gunfire as the nightmare unfolds. Eyewitness capturing it all on his cell phone.
There's somebody lying in the parking lot, shot.
As we've seen so many times, an army of police and rescue personnel descending on the scene.
We had 11 civilian shots. 3 of those are deceased, and we do have some that are critical.
2 police officers injured in an exchange of gunfire with the suspect. The officers and the suspect did not sustain life-threatening injuries. Amaya Doherty was in a car outside the store when the gunshots rang out.
I heard like boom, boom, brrr, and then I looked and I thought it was fireworks, and I looked out like to my left and I seen a man with his groceries with some khaki shorts on, and he just dropped back. And then I seen a man, he had, I think it was an AK, he had rounds and he was just shooting, like he was shooting, and I locked the door and I got real low.
Police say a lone gunman was involved but declined to say what sparked the shooting. Tonight the community responding. People scared, frustrated, angry.
I have people that I talked to that was in there, and man, they're traumatized.
This is something scary. This is something new, like for all of us. So when I come to Mad Butcher to get some lunch, I'm coming to get some lunch, not to be worried about our lives.
Pierre joins us now. Pierre, what comes next in this investigation?
Well, Phil, as police try to determine what happened at that grocery store, tonight the FBI and ATF are now assisting as yet another community deals with yet another mass shooting.
Pierre Thomas for us tonight. Pierre, thank you. Reaction tonight to that major ruling from the Supreme Court upholding a gun ban for people subject to a domestic violence restraining order. It marks a significant turn for the High Court after more than a decade of expanding gun rights. So we speak to an advocate and domestic violence survivor about what this ruling means to women who have been impacted directly by abuse. But first, ABC's Terry Moran is at the Supreme Court tonight.
At the Supreme Court today, a rare victory for advocates of gun safety laws. By a vote of 8-1, the court upheld a federal law aimed at keeping guns out of the hands of domestic abusers, upholding a law that prohibits people who are subject to domestic violence restraining orders from possessing a firearm. Chief Justice John Roberts, writing for the majority, we conclude only this: an individual found by a court to pose a credible threat to the physical safety of another may be temporarily disarmed, consistent with the Second Amendment. The case centered on Zaki Rahimi, a Texas drug dealer with a history of domestic abuse, who was arrested after a shooting spree and charged under federal law with possessing a firearm while under a restraining order. Rahimi's lawyers argued the Second Amendment guaranteed him the right to have a gun. But the High Court ruled that the Second Amendment has limits, and on this issue, it can be a matter of life or death. The statistics are clear. A woman who lives in a house with a domestic abuser is 5 times more likely to be murdered if that abuser has access to a gun. Today, Lachey Crachan is lucky to be alive. The 45-year-old mother of 2 was shot 5 times by her ex-boyfriend in front of her daughter.
They listen to survivors. They listen to us. Because it's not a day, a minute, or a second that we don't think about it.
Justice Clarence Thomas, the lone dissenting vote, warned that today's decision could be the start of a slippery slope and contradicts a major Supreme Court ruling in 2022 that held that new gun laws must be consistent with this nation's historical traditions of firearms regulation. Thomas writing, not a single historical regulation justifies the statute at issue, therefore I respectfully dissent. But Chief Justice Roberts argued that today's decision was based in history, in tradition, but also in common sense. Since the founding, our nation's firearm laws have included provisions preventing individuals who threaten physical harm to others from misusing firearms.
Terry joins us now from the Supreme Court. Terry, there are still several major cases yet to be decided, including on things like abortion and the critical question of presidential immunity.
Yeah, that's right, Phil. This is turning out to be a truly consequential Supreme Court term. Today's opinion shifting the court's direction on the Second Amendment, then that big abortion case out of Idaho, the first test of a state abortion ban since the court overturned Roe versus Wade 2 years ago. And then, as you said, the biggest case of the term, President Trump's claim, Donald Trump's claim, I'll say, because he was president, he's arguing, he has absolute immunity from any criminal prosecution for any of his actions surrounding his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. That'll have a huge impact, not just on the campaign, but on the power of the presidents. Phil?
All right, Terry Moran from the Supreme Court. Terry, thank you. This ruling, a sigh of relief for so many faced with domestic abuse. The World Health Organization estimates that about 1 in 3 women will be abused by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Before the ruling here in the U.S., Lindsay Davis spoke with 2 women who survived being shot by their partners multiple times. Now women like Kate Ranta share their stories to advocate for others. We do want to warn you that some of the subject matter in this story is disturbing.
With the threat of sea change on the horizon, Kate Ranta remains vigilant. She does not want to go back to the past.
Nobody would listen to me. I was flipping out.
She distinctly recalls knowing something terrible was going to happen.
I had told so many people for so long, and nobody would do anything.
And then it did, on November 2nd, 2012.
911 is your emergency. Please, my estranged husband is here, and he's trying to get into my... Give me your address. Give me your address, ma'am. Ma'am. He's trying to kill you out.
He knelt down, like on the other side of the kitchenette table, and had the gun, and he was kneeling right next to William. And he had the gun pointed at me and was kind of like taunting and playing with me with it. And all of a sudden, Will screamed out, and again, he had just turned 4. He had just turned 4. He screamed out, "Don't do it, Daddy, don't shoot Mommy."
I'm sorry. You're dying? I know.
It was while she was in the process of divorcing U.S. Air Force Major Thomas Maffei that he shot her twice. Once in her breast, once in her hand. He also shot her father, all in front of little William, who was just 4 years old.
It wasn't like in the movies and on TV, the police didn't come kick the door in and shoot and kill the bad guy. Nobody was coming in to save us. So either I was gonna die on that floor or try to get out the door. So I did, and I really thought that he was just gonna shoot me from behind as I left.
Bleeding profusely, she was lucky to get out alive.
Survivor advocate and author Kate Ranta joins us now. Kate, thanks so much for being here. We do appreciate it. Right off the bat, I'd just like to get your reaction to the Supreme Court's decision.
Relief. I would love to say that this is a big celebration, but more than anything, I feel relief. This court has, I haven't had a lot of faith that the right decision would be made. So I feel very, very relieved today that the decision came down the way that it did.
You've said in the past that you had attempted to get a permanent restraining order against your ex, but you were only granted extended temporary orders. So I'm wondering, what kind of changes do you think need to happen for women, or really anyone who is reporting partner abuse?
We need to believe women out the gate. My story, unfortunately, is one of system failure. I thought that I was doing the right thing. I did just leave, like women are always told to do when they find themselves in abusive situations. I went and got a temporary restraining order. The guns were able to be removed from the home. I lived in Florida at the time. But, just more needs to be done. This doesn't go far enough. Unfortunately, it's very hard to get a conviction on domestic violence. Again, I couldn't even get a permanent restraining order, let alone a conviction. So it's just, we still have a long way to go, despite this ruling today.
Yeah, and Kate, for our viewers who don't know the situation, I just want to explain. Your ex-husband was found guilty and convicted of 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, burglary of a dwelling, aggravated assault with a firearm, shooting into an occupied dwelling. He's now serving a 60-year prison sentence as a survivor of that kind of domestic violence. What was your experience like? I know you said you wish you had known this or that, but what was your experience like with the legal system?
It was horrific. The family court system had let me down time and time again. Again, I had tried to get a permanent restraining order and was denied several times. My divorce had stalled by the time the shooting occurred. I had tried to move forward, and the system just was not allowing me to do it. So it's extremely frustrating, and it's extremely dangerous when you're trying to leave and you're not protected by the system that's in place to protect you and your children.
You become an extremely powerful voice of advocacy. I'm wondering if you could give 2 pieces of advice. One, to those in a domestic situation that they are trying to desperately leave for safety's sake, and also a piece of advice to those who love someone who is desperately trying to get out of a situation like that. What would you say?
Yeah, so right, to women that are in it, I mean, first of all, it's not your fault. And you're not alone. Domestic violence comes with a lot of blame and shame on women, and not, frankly, on the men that are perpetuating this violence. Why did you stay? Why didn't you leave sooner? Why didn't you see the signs? I wouldn't put up with that kind of stuff. So you're not alone. And if you are ready to leave, make sure that you have a safety plan, because that was something that I didn't even know about when I was in my situation. I had no idea about safety planning. And I think that it's really important, once you make that decision to leave, that you're able to leave as safely as possible. And to family members, my own family, they were very, very supportive of me through this entire situation, including one time when I went back to him after some of the abuse. They never gave up on me. And so to people that love those that are in a situation like this, please don't give up on them.
All right, Kate Ranta, thanks so much. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
And we want to let you know, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic or intimate partner abuse, please reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It's 1-800-799-7233, or you can just text the word START to 88788. Tonight, we are tracking extreme heat for more than 110 million Americans from the Northeast to California. 15 states under alerts right now, with temperatures still on the rise. New York in its second day above 90 degrees, triggering its first air quality alert of the season. New delays on the country's busiest rail corridor into and out of Penn Station. And tonight, that life-threatening heat is also returning to the west. We'll have a forecast in just a moment, but first, here's ABC's Ariel Reshef in New York.
Tonight, more than 110 million Americans baking under blistering heat. In New York City, a sticky morning commute. Rail service suspended for hours for a second day after a New Jersey transit train got stuck in the tunnel, triggering cancellations and delays.
I don't know how long this is going to continue. It's just horrible.
In Buffalo, schools handed out bottled water, but some students were frustrated they had to struggle through hours of testing with no air conditioning.
When you're trying to sit there and think and process, and then you got the heat, it just drains you, it makes you exhausted, and it's just harder to think.
This dangerous heat wave already taking a toll. In New York and New Jersey, the rate of ER visits for heat-related symptoms is up 800% this week. In Phoenix, Red Cross volunteers going door to door, sharing safety tips.
If you have to be outside for only a minimal amount of time, as much as needed. Definitely drink a lot of water, always stay hydrated.
And Ariel joins us now. Ariel, the situation at Penn Station has improved, but the heat streak could still impact train travel through the weekend, right?
Yeah, that's right, Phil. At least a little bit of good news for travelers tonight. Amtrak confirming that service has been restored here at Penn Station. But look, if you are traveling over the weekend, you should be advised that you may encounter some delays and even cancellations as we see this heat continue to persist. Phil.
All right, Ariel Reshef from New York City tonight. Ariel, thank you. Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our partner station in New York, WABC, is tracking all the heat, out in the heat himself. Lee, any relief in sight?
A melting on site is what it is, Phil. No, unfortunately not. We're really into this for a while as the heat dome has trapped much of the country. And that's just a big amount of sinking air around the area. The air has no place to go. We just keep heating up. The air quality is poor and the heat keeps climbing. And we've got excessive heat watches and advisories all the way from southern New England, mid-Atlantic, all the way into the Ohio Valley. We'll have 100-degree readings in D.C. and Richmond. We hit 100 in Newark today. Now, riding the ridge or the periphery, we call it the ring of fire of this heat dome, you see the storms. So they're out in the Rockies, they go into the Great Lakes, and then into the Northeast. We had some strong storms in the Boston area last night. This time, it's really south of I-90. It's Rhode Island, Connecticut, and then into the Hudson Valley of New York. So New York City might get a shower this afternoon. Second day of 90 degrees, probably a heat wave in New York City tomorrow. The heat's expanded west, too, and the extreme heat is out in the desert southwest. We've got excessive heat warnings. Phoenix hasn't had a high below 100 since late May. They'll continue during the weekend. They're likely to have their hottest June on record, and the heat's in Fresno and up to Sacramento, where we could be 104 degrees tomorrow. And then, of course, the tropics. We had Alberto. We have a tropical low that could be a short-lived depression off the Georgia and Florida coast. It's going to produce big rip currents for beachgoers anywhere from Daytona all the way up to Charleston. There might be some flooding downpours, but the bigger impact will be the rip currents. We'll also be watching the Gulf of Mexico again over the weekend for another tropical depression to form right where Alberto did. But you know what? The heat's in the Northeast, Phil, and we had 80s for the big parade in Boston today. Wasn't too hot for all those fans, though, right, Phil?
I had a feeling you were going to mention the heat in Boston. Yes, go Celtics. I'm surprised you were working today, Lee, and not at the parade.
It wasn't easy. Banner 18, though. Here we go. On to 19.
All right. Boeing Starliner spacecraft has a proposed new landing date of Wednesday, June 26th. The NASA astronauts, two of them, have been left waiting to return home from the International Space Station because of helium leaks and thruster failures they've experienced. Officials have said there is no reason to believe Starliner won't be able to bring the astronauts back home. And they have also set an alternative date for June 30th. Now to an ABC News exclusive with the wife of the man electrocuted in a hot tub at a resort in Mexico, an incident she survived. Tonight, she's speaking out about that painful ordeal, how she learned of her husband's death, and what she's doing to prevent this from happening to anyone else. ABC's Matt Rivers has more, and video of that disturbing incident.
Tonight, new details about this horrific incident last week at a Mexican resort. An El Paso man killed after being electrocuted in a hot tub. His wife severely injured alongside him, speaking exclusively to ABC News.
How strange is it to be talking about him in the past tense?
I still can't believe it.
Zambrano and her husband George Guillen taking these pictures just before getting into the hot tub. Moments later, painful electric shocks shooting through her body, temporarily paralyzing her.
The shocks were so strong and unbearable that I prayed to God and I said, God, I'm yours.
And then this terrifying scene. Liz says she was unconscious for 5 minutes. This video now part of the investigation. Liz pulled out of the hot tub without a pulse and later medevaced to the hospital. She overheard nurses speaking in Spanish.
One of them says, no, su esposo no la hizo.
What does that mean in English?
Her husband didn't make it.
Zambrano now suing the vacation rental company they booked with, called Casa Go, claiming negligence and wrongful death, saying someone needs to take accountability.
Because I feel that this could have been prevented.
The lawsuit claims Liz's husband was electrocuted and drowned underwater for 10 minutes, and that at no time prior did the defendants seek to engage the emergency shutoff. Casa Go is denying responsibility, saying in part the Homeowners Association is responsible for all common areas and that Casa Go, a vacation rental company, is not involved in any management or maintenance of the resort.
Phil, ABC News has reached out to the Homeowners Association for comment but has not yet heard back. That lawsuit, meanwhile, alleges that all of this was caused by faulty wiring, though that is still under official investigation. Phil.
A horrific story. Matt Rivers, thank you tonight. Meantime, a Pennsylvania couple has died while vacationing with their family in South Florida with their 6 children. The couple entered the water for a swim and were quickly swept away by a rip current. Their children desperately trying to save them, but the current was too strong. ABC's Victor Akendo is in Florida tonight.
Tonight, tragedy at this Florida beach. A couple caught in a rip current while swimming with their children, drowning after being swept away.
And they stepped right into a riptide, according to our witnesses, and immediately were taken over by the power of the ocean.
Authorities say 51-year-old Brian Warder and 48-year-old Erica Wishard were visiting Hutchinson Island in South Florida with their 6 mostly teenage children from previous relationships. Around 1:30 Thursday afternoon, the Pennsylvania couple and 2 of the teens decided to go swimming, a red flag warning in effect at the time. Officials say the group was pushed away from the shore in a matter of seconds. The 2 children breaking free from the current and attempting to help, but forced back to land.
Our lifeguards were able to get in, find the 2 victims approximately 100 to 125 yards off the beach.
First responders performing CPR on the beach before racing the 2 adults to the hospital. They did not survive. The incident, a terrible reminder of the importance of ocean safety.
Stay calm, try and signal lifeguards if you can, and then don't fight the current because it's a pretty strong force.
If you're ever caught in a rip current, do your best to stay calm and actually let it take you out to sea until you're able to start swimming parallel to the shore, then at an angle, then back to safety. Phil?
Victor, thank you. At least 30 people were killed, 50 wounded in an Israeli airstrike on tent camps near Rafah. Gaza health officials say the strike hit tent camps where displaced Palestinians were living. This latest deadly attack comes less than a month after an Israeli bombing triggered a fatal fire that tore through another camp, forced displaced Palestinians in southern Gaza, drawing widespread international outrage. Still much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, flight attendants of one of the biggest airlines in the world one step closer to a strike. But next, as both parties vie for the support of black men, ABC News goes to 3 battleground states to hear from voters on where they stand just a few months out from the presidential election.
You're leaning towards Trump.
Yes, I am. I believe in what President Biden is trying to accomplish, and I will be standing with him.
Coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside, the Brat Pack was something very different. On June 10th, 1985, New York Magazine published Hollywood's Brat Pack. I just remember seeing that cover and thinking, oh. From then on, my career and the career of everyone who was involved was branded to the Brat Pack.
I'm really sorry that article had to come out.
I've never talked to anybody about what that was like. So I thought it might be interesting to try and contact everyone who was in the Brat Pack. Hey, Emilio Estevez. This is Andrew McCarthy calling you. Hey, Allie. Hey, Demi. Hey, Molly. Let's call Rob. Hello. Judd? Me? You around? You were not interested in talking about the Brat Pack for years.
I turned everything down.
How come you're talking to me?
Because you called me. It was time that we clear the air on a couple things.
I love your stuff, Bob. Hey, thank you. I hated the Brat Pack for decades. What a disaster. If you could have the Brat Pack name not exist, would you?
It really irritated me. They said, what's more important to you, the movie or your life? And I said, the movie, Andrew.
Have you talked to the others? The others, like, again, it feels like a cult or something.
Yeah. Why did we take it as an offense?
Well,
as opposed to like
a brat.
Because we were young.
We're afraid we were brats, you know? Are you in the Brat Pack?
I'm Brat Pack adjacent.
That's what I was saying.
I am not in the Brat Pack.
Crush on you back in the day?
You did not, Andrew. No, you did not.
Being in the Brat Pack not only changed all of our lives, it changed what entertainment is. I mean, I'm not going to say we were the Beatles or anything.
Well, we didn't fill Shea Stadium. There were moments.
We could have. 1985, I think we could have.
So what are you filming?
Oh, we're just doing this documentary.
What's it about?
Ancient history.
More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
I'm Anthony Mackie. Like most fishermen, sharks used to terrify me. If the shark gets too close, I should hit it in the nose.
Well, you don't need to hit it.
I'm on a quest to find out why these apex predators, that's amazing, are swiping fishermen's hard-earned catches. What? You saw that? Shark Beach with Anthony Mackie.
Woo! That's our fish. Look at that.
Part of the sharkiest 4-week celebration this summer. Shark Fest starts June 30th at 9 on National Geographic.
Welcome back. Black men could play a pivotal role in the 2024 election. As a result, campaigns are courting them, hoping to get their vote in key battleground states. But many say they usually feel disregarded once the elections are over, and it's making those votes harder to win. ABC's Byron Pitts with more.
Downtown Atlanta, site of one of the biggest battle rap competitions of the season. This is old school rapping in its rawest form, boasting and bragging, and not for the faint of heart.
We in the House of Representatives. Ain't no snitching on the ticket. You would tell that I'm in it. Right. Things don't know me by my government. I get work from the mayor and I tell him to send it.
A lyrical beatdown.
Why you never use your influence to be the bridge to this? The fact you couldn't be the gateway? I took offense to it. To beat with you.
With popular headliners and a high-energy crowd. But here, battle rap is the appetizer. The battle for the White House is the main course.
Pull a rabbit out there.
No slogans, no campaign buttons, no candidates. A political feast served in a particular way for this particular audience.
What is this conference? What's it called, and what's its purpose?
It's called No Cap. In young black man languages, it means no lies, this is the truth. And our purpose was to talk to the people who are talking to black men that don't participate in the election.
Very excited about this shit, man. I'm very excited about it.
Mondell Robinson is the founder of the Black Male Voter Project.
Nice to meet you as well. What I hear you say is that this conference is for the untouchables.
The undesirables. We talk to the brothers that the world don't want to talk to. We make them sing.
Historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, churches. Robinson says there's a path that political parties always follow when reaching out to black voters. His organization follows a different path.
Yeah, definitely. Part of the narrative in America about black male voters, I believe, is that they're apathetic. They don't care. True? False?
False as hell. There's no apathy in black men. There's a level of antipathy. Antipathy is a whole different emotion. You hate what politics is and does because you've not seen the growth or benefit of it. Black men are not better off because of politics.
Black men are core of the Democratic Party's path to victory for generations. While the black community still overwhelmingly supports Democrats, some of that support could be eroding. Recent ABC News polling shows that more black people have moved away from President Biden. Some of the black voters most likely to support Trump are those under 50. In a year where the election could be a toss-up, black men could play a pivotal role.
Lives were lost for this right.
It's like, what am I voting for?
Tonight, we're on the ground in 3 battleground states.
Show of hands, if this will be the first presidential election you've had a chance to vote.
Listening to black men about the issues that matter to them.
I still see the drugs, the crime. People literally have to decide whether they want to pay a bill or buy groceries.
And speaking to those who have the ear of the two camps battling for the White House.
The role of black voters in this election is really going to be monumental.
So whether you vote or not, you're voting. Whether you say yes, you check a ballot or not, you are saying something.
Well, who here knows misinformation?
At the No Cap conference, attendees sat in on seminars about election misinformation and the 15th Amendment.
At least Trump be out and open for what he stand for and what he do.
Hitman Holler and John the Don, artists, entertainers, battle rappers, and both fathers in their 30s, say up until now, politics has been a luxury they could not afford.
Have either one of you ever voted in a presidential election?
One time.
One time. When was that?
Obama.
You point to your hand. Voted for the brother.
Yeah.
Voted for the black man. Then what happened?
Nothing. Voting is the last thing on my mind. Y'all want me to vote for what? So Mike Brown can get shot 10 times in his head? That's what I'm voting for? So George Floyd can get killed on camera, bro? What am I voting for? What am I going and standing in this line for and voting for one of these people for? Why? But y'all want to act like my vote really matters. Man, bro.
In 2020, record turnout among black voters helped turn Georgia blue. But Hitman and John still weary of voting come November.
You're leaning towards Trump.
Yes, I am. I feel like it was more change when Trump was in office than Biden, if we got to compare what's going on. But he said you're not black if you don't vote for me?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Who says that? It was wild to hear that. And then, what have you done?
The Biden administration recently launching a new strategy to convince black voters of what they've done, touting student debt forgiveness, support to black-owned small businesses, record low unemployment levels, and an increase in black wealth.
Because black Americans voted, Kamala and I are president and vice president of the United States because of you.
So when I see you brothers in the late fall, you'll be wearing MAGA hats?
No. That's what I'm saying. The thing is, I'll vote, but that's what I'm saying about only options. It's just like, hey, you want to burn your hand in the oven or you'll burn your hand in the toaster.
The former president has tried to court black voters in a myriad of ways. From Trump-branded Never Surrender high tops.
It's a slightly different audience than I'm used to, but I love this audience.
Bringing rappers on stage with him.
Make America great again.
Rapper 50 Cent weighing in on where black male voters stand during a visit with lawmakers.
I see them identifying with Trump.
Why do you say that?
Because they got RICO charges.
But Trump's appeal to some of hip-hop music's biggest fans, young, college-educated black voters, likely isn't translating.
We talked to some brothers who were in the battle rap. They're entrepreneurial, they have dynamic businesses, they're doing well, they support their families. And they were thinking, A, about not voting at all, and B, thinking about voting for Donald Trump.
I mean, slavery took a long time to end, and it was...
Wow, you're going there.
Yeah, 100%. That is exactly what that is. I can definitely say from my family's perspective as well, growing up in South Carolina, a lot of them agree with Donald Trump.
We caught up with these 4 young men at St. Augustine's University, an HBCU in Raleigh, North Carolina. Both Biden and Trump have invested in these institutions.
I want to show you a videotape of a speech he gave not too long ago.
I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against.
That's not us.
That's crazy. To think that like you can relate to a whole community just by going to jail is outrageous.
I kind of feel like disgusted that he felt like he could get to us by making jokes about going to jail and relating to us by that way. It's not what we stand for as people.
What issues matter most to you guys this election?
I'm so politically tired. Like, I don't even know what issues I care about anymore. Reproductive rights, for me, it's important, but it's like, I'm tired.
Why are you tired?
Constantly having to fight as a black man in every space. It's like every system is built in opposition of our success.
All four tell us they'll be voting for President Biden in November.
Show of hands, if this will be the first presidential election you've had the chance to vote.
I think it's really important. Our ancestors fought for this, so I feel like it's very important for black people in general just to vote.
The state of North Carolina has been a mainstay in the story of black political progress in America. In Greensboro, 4 HBCU students famously spearheaded the nationwide sit-in movement in the 1960s. And for generations, the black church instrumental in fighting for fair access to the ballot. Republican congressional candidate Abdul Ali knows full well the power of the church.
This is exactly what I wanted, a nice, intimate crowd of folks to come out for lunch.
Hosting a Politics in the Pulpit event in the Charlotte area.
Amen. Amen.
It's an important constituency to win over in a state that Trump carried by about a point in 2020.
Does Donald Trump reflect your values politically and personally?
Politically, yeah, and some of the values personally. Am I a fan of the mean tweets and calling people out of their name? I don't think that has any place in civilized politics. I don't. But I also recognize that if you read the framers of the Constitution, they were just as ruthless and gangster and mean as Donald Trump is.
How was life for black America, you think, under Donald Trump?
Let Sexy Red tell it we was getting money.
Rising rap artist Sexy Red going viral for this video, praising the COVID financial relief issued under the Trump administration.
Oh, baby, we love Trump. We need him back in office.
We were doing a lot better.
That's not fully true, is it? Right? Black unemployment is lower than it's ever been.
We've not seen an increase in the quality of life. And I don't think black America can take 4 more years of this. I don't think we can.
Some of the things that have plagued us is the lack of good jobs, ones that can take care of a family.
Saginaw, Michigan, less than 2 hours north of Detroit, once a thriving hub for the auto industry. Hurley Coleman is the Chief Executive Officer of Saginaw County Community Action Committee.
How you doing? My concern personally is our black community being able to have the opportunity to go into homes, financial literacy, education, opportunities to advance.
While black unemployment reached historic lows during President Biden's first term, here in Michigan, black unemployment is at least 50% higher than the national average. Trump won here in 2016, Biden in 2020 by just 303 votes in a pivotal state. It's a pivotal swing county, and both Biden and Trump know it, already making stops here.
I believe in what President Biden is trying to accomplish, and I will be standing with him.
But not everyone is convinced. Antonio Brooks, who's voted in every presidential election since he was 18, is now questioning whether he wants to vote at all.
All we do is go in, just vote for straight tickets. We just vote Democrat. So we're not holding them accountable. We just giving them our vote, which if I feel like you don't deserve it, I'm not giving it to you anymore. I keep it myself.
Our thanks to Byron for that. There is still much more ahead here tonight on Prime. Steve Bannon's latest attempt to avoid prison, who he made a long shot request to. But first, give it up for the Green. The city of Boston is celebrating the Celtics NBA title. We're going to take a look at the team's banner year by the numbers.
You're watching America's #1 streaming news. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
I experienced a lot of rejection, a lot of heartache. I'm a tough woman, but it's not easy. I have my days where you gotta do whatever you can to crawl out of those dark holes. You're gonna feel lonely. There was a lot of personal stuff in my life that was really falling apart. It's taken me a really long time to even get to this moment. I feel like every pair of bell bottoms all come with a different story. 19 years old, pulling up to Nashville, I was terrified.
Not everybody makes it.
I was a fish out of water. At times, I was too country for country.
You were living in a trailer for a while.
I remember sitting out in this camper trailer, crying my eyes out, thinking, is it ever gonna happen? But Mom and Daddy didn't raise no quitter. I have had the hardest 2 months of my life. My daddy has not been doing well. We've been through a lot these past few years, and it kind of makes me emotional. Y'all gonna see me cry again. I was scrolling on TikTok. I noticed a few videos of my butt that had gone viral. At first, I was laughing, and I'm like, these people ain't right. No matter what size you are beautiful.
Being a woman in country music can be tough.
And the CMA Award for Album of the Year for Female Vocalist of the Year.
Entertainer of the Year
goes to Lainey
Wilson.
That was a mic drop.
The Entertainer of the Year, baby.
Lainey's album, Bell Bottom Country, changed the game.
There ain't nothing better than this. Hold my beer, watch this.
What she is doing right now is changing country music.
I do see the bell bottoms and the hat as my superhero outfit.
Go, Lainey!
It's mind-blowing. It's magic. I'm proud of myself. I really am. I have worked my ass off. Now it's time to see what's next.
That's what I'm talking about! Woo!
How do you feel?
Gay as hell.
I see you.
I love it here.
Is this real?
100%.
I think you still look at me that way.
Will you marry me?
I want pageantry that takes months and months to plan.
My girls have a
Here's to good mornings in America.
Can you feel the love?
Oh, yeah.
Mornings that inspire, filled with hope, kindness, joyous surprises, and so much fun.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
Start your day with Good Morning America's ray of sunshine, highlighting the best of America and helping
make dreams come true. Wow. I'm just so happy. It is so good.
Get ready to smile and put the good into your morning, America, because
You know what will make the morning better? A little ray of sunshine.
Reporting from the Normandy coast for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. Tonight, the city of Boston is celebrating the Celtics NBA title this week. So let's take a look by the numbers at the team's banner year. An estimated 1 million fans were expected to turn out in Beantown today for the championship parade as the team rode on those famous Boston duck boats throughout the city. This was the 18th time the Celtics won it all. That is an NBA record. The team went 16-3 in the playoffs, 80 wins, 21 losses overall this season. The Celtics didn't just beat teams, they frequently demolished them. The team had the 4th best point differential in NBA history. They say some luck is involved in winning it all each year, and for the Celtics, it took them just 14 games to get through the Eastern Conference. In 9 of those games, their opponent was missing at least one All-Star from the team due to injury. In the finals, they quickly dispatched of the 5th seed Dallas Mavericks. But a win is a win, period. And it was a sweet one for 17-year NBA veteran Al Horford, the big man they call him in Boston. Not Bruce Springsteen, the other big man. After an astounding 185 career playoff games, Horford finally secured an NBA championship. And while the rest of the East hopes to catch up to the Celtics, Horford says he will be back for an 18th season alongside his incredible teammates Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Congratulations to the entire team and the entire city of Boston. I have some friends who might not even make it to work Monday morning. There's much more ahead here on Prime. A 4-year-old boy spends a lonely night lost in the wilderness. Coming up, his incredible rescue. Plus, back to the beginning, a new documentary takes us to the pivotal moment in American culture when breakdance was born. Our conversation with the directors of Breaking on the One.
They call him the Beauty Queen Killer. He's targeting young women in malls, posing as a photographer. Police believe he will strike again.
I am single. I'm so gay in life. I want to enjoy the company of a number of women.
A string of abductions and murders. One of the most wanted fugitives for the FBI.
Across the country, young women disappeared.
He controlled me. He tortured me.
How are you feeling? Do you remember what happened?
One day at the mall, I noticed this man standing around with a camera, watching me. Handsome, charismatic, very persuasive. He approached me. He claimed that he could make me a model. This is the one point that I regret every second of my life. Boom, 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 boom.
It just changed like that.
He had his .45 pointed at me, and I never made it home.
I'm nervous for my family, nervous for every girl. I'm nervous for you.
I got my eyes taped shut. He started electrocuting me. You have to obey.
The word accomplice came up.
They insisted that Tina was involved. Was she complicit? Or was she the victim of it? It's very strange behavior.
I have never heard a story of a serial killer letting someone go. I'm wondering if you ever think, why?
Whether you believe me or not, it's my truth. Nobody knows the real story. I felt like there was no way you can escape. What do you do? How do you get out of it? What would you do?
The Beauty Queen Killer, 9 Days of Terror. Streaming only on Hulu.
Sunday morning, just days before they finally face each other for their highly anticipated debate. Inside the campaigns, the debate prep, and what could happen Thursday night. Plus, Elizabeth Warren, exclusive Sunday morning on ABC's This Week.
Let's go.
We are heading into the unknown.
Oh my gosh.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Well, dead ahead! Tug on! Hammer, hammer, hammer.
It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Now streaming on Hulu. I'm a rock and roll star. I'm not a saint. I'm John Bon Jovi. John Bon Jovi. The new special, What You Have Not Yet Seen. John Bon Jovi with Michael Strahan. Now streaming on Hulu.
Welcome back. Tonight, 28,000 flight attendants with American Airlines one step closer to going on strike. Steve Bannon taking his argument all the way to the Supreme Court, filing an emergency application to keep him from going to prison in 10 days. And the double murder in Virginia solved after 28 years. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
Flight attendants for American Airlines are one step closer to going on strike. Discussions with the airline and the Association of Professional Flight Attendants ended without an agreement, with the APFA saying American did not come to the table with an agreement adequately compensating its 28,000 flight attendants and warning those attendants to prepare for a strike. American said the two sides made progress this week, and they look forward to continuing negotiations.
2 men have been charged with the murder of a 12-year-old girl from Houston. Johan Martinez Rangel and Franklin Pena, both Venezuelan nationals and in the country illegally, were charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nunn Gary. Her body was found Monday after she was allegedly killed and left in a bayou. Authorities said surveillance cameras helped track the movements of Jocelyn and the 2 suspects. Steve Bannon, the ex-advisor to former President Trump, filed an emergency application with the Supreme Court to stave off his upcoming jail time. Bannon was sentenced to 4 months in prison after being convicted of contempt of Congress stemming from his defiance of a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Bannon was recently ordered to report to prison by July 1st and has been appealing his sentence.
Show me your hands!
An 18-year-old South Carolina teen filed a federal civil rights lawsuit this week against the city of North Myrtle Beach and officers from its police department after being mistakenly pulled over at gunpoint. Officers pulled Lanisha Hemingway over last month after they allegedly got a hit that her car was stolen. She was held at gunpoint and handcuffed before eventually being let go when police acknowledged they had the wrong vehicle. Hemingway said the officers violated her constitutional rights and that she was left traumatized. The FBI has identified the suspect in a double murder cold case in Virginia. Lolly Winans and Julie Williams were murdered at their campsite in Shenandoah National Park in 1996. They had been sexually assaulted and their throats slashed. Officials say new DNA testing helped confirm the alleged killer was Walter Leo Jackson Sr., a convicted rapist and kidnapper originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Jackson died in prison in 2018. A 4-year-old California boy was found safe after a night alone in the wilderness. Christian Ramirez and his family were at a campground in Fresno County when he apparently got separated and disappeared Thursday morning. Officials searched Thursday into Friday until they found Christian in the woods about a quarter mile from the campground. Officials say Christian was in good condition, but hungry and tired.
It's a sense of connection, bringing together a group, crowds, a DJ, music, a space for artists to express their creativity with their body. Breaking on the One highlights a community that revolutionized dance and now showcasing breakdancing across the globe in entertainment and sports. Take a look.
If you were to ask any b-boy or b-girl of any age, what's the most iconic breakdance battle that ever happened in the world, they would probably say battle between Dynamic Rockers and Rocksteady Crew at Lincoln Center, summer of 1981. New York City doesn't get enough credit for being one of the most important catalysts for the creation of hip-hop culture.
It does now. Joining us are the directors of the documentary film, Jamal Jams Parham and Bashan Bash Akwar. Guys, thank you so much for being here. And I want to start with that because, you know, sort of, I don't think a lot of people know that Lincoln Center, just across from where we are, that summer, though that battle, the summer of 1981, New York has more importance to this than people think?
Yeah. Totally. I think one of the things that really attracted us to telling this story was that this was a kind of origin story, Big Bang moment that was created by these black and brown kids from New York, and they brought this art form to its like crazy prestigious institution like Lincoln Center. And it's just something that not a lot of people knew about, things that people talked about, and it got us really excited.
Yeah, and thinking about sort of other things that we might have seen along the journey of like getting to what this thing needed to be, is we really wanted to spend time in the sort of intimate space of just this moment and what that meant for the city. Yeah. So that was fun to dig into that.
You talk about the competitive nature, you know, and for people who don't know, how do you figure out who wins? How do you figure out who wins? And is it sort of like a collective decision? How does that work?
It's about the culture deciding, right? And like one of the through lines that we found interesting in this story is like, there are different winners and losers in different things. Like we can talk about kind of the battle itself, but also like how this thing globally affected culture. Like it kind of, that's one of the things that we really investigate. And I think if you look at rap, you look at graffiti, you know what I mean, you look at DJing, it's like, it's really about how you're moving the crowd and like what kind of reaction you're getting.
Is there a moment you can point to, a pivotal moment that brought it from, you know, sort of an urban activity more mainstream?
Yeah, I mean, it would be this moment at Lincoln Center.
Oh, at Lincoln Center,
yeah.
that was the moment.
That was the moment.
I think it was that, and you can really trace very easily, like, that thing happens, and then it's in Flashdance. Beach Street comes out. You see this thing that really happened in the hood. It was in the Bronx and Queens at a time when New York was not what the Bronx and Queens are today, you know what I mean? And these kids created something that people really paid attention to, and corporate America saw an opportunity. I think, like, you know, arts investors, patrons of the arts saw an opportunity, and it exploded. Like, they went around the world, they went to Europe, and it's wild.
It leads me to my last question for you. Around the world, it has become an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Being able to see, again, like, something that's so wholly American be put on that stage, and in a way where it's like, you know, like, favorite teams are coming out of Korea and Japan and Germany and, like, Sweden, and, like, it's not just an American thing anymore, but it's knowing that it's, like, something that we can have some pride in and that we created and put on the stage.
In the expansion and contraction of a genre like breakdancing, that can get lost.
Yeah.
That can get lost, and we've seen that happen in other art forms that get, you know, their time in the spotlight.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
It's great, and it's great to document what you've documented. And we want to let you know that Breaking on the One starts streaming June 24th on Hulu. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. Have a good night.
There is a price to be paid every time a survivor shares their story.
I think